Good evening, everyone. I hope you can all hear me clearly. My name is Harry Rianga. Thank you so much for coming to the Why Not You ebook launch. I am an emotional intelligence coach, a speaker, and an author. Now, as the title of the book is a question, I too will begin with a question. Why do most of us think that it's the other person that will do something remarkable? That it is the other person that will make a difference? Why do we think that it's only the other person that can do awesome things, that can be awesome? Why not you? What stops you from leaving your mark in the world? What is stopping you from eating life with a big spoon? What is stopping you from being authentically you? Why Not You is a book that seeks to challenge you so that you can level up and be the best version of yourself. Most of the times, we are the ones who limit ourselves. We are the ones who hinder our own progress. The book challenges our preconceived notions and disempowering thoughts so that we can be free to explore our potential and be all that we were created to be. Now, to do this, we have to be deliberate and purposeful as we live our lives. We need to decide to make things happen. We need to make the change and take the steps that will launch us into our destiny. It does not happen by chance. We need to be intentional. So at this point, I would like to invite a guest speaker who's going to talk about the importance of living intentionally and choosing to live authentically. She is a financial and intentionality coach, as well as the owner of the Marisha School in Nairobi. It is my pleasure and privilege to invite and present to you Mrs. Audrey Wanjama. Karibu, Audrey.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Harry. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for organizing this. And congratulations, for writing this book. Very, very exciting, and such an inspiration to all of us. So thank you. So I'll start. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. My name is Audrey, as you've heard, and I'm so glad to be here today. So I'm just going to briefly share on what it means to live intentionally. I'm sure it's not a new concept to most of us, but today I'd just like to break it down a little bit so that we can just see and measure our lives and just think, are we really living intentionally? And what can we do then to live intentionally? All right. So I'll start by just my definition of what living intentionally is. And what I've found is living intentionally is living a life that is aligned to your values, beliefs, and passions. All right. So when you're living intentionally, there's alignment in your values, beliefs, and passions. Okay. If you're like me, you can take a few notes if you would like. So we can just break that down a little bit. And the first thing is core values, right? So what are our core values? So core values are foundational beliefs that anchor our lives, the things that matter to us the most. These are the non-negotiable characteristics that best describe who we are. All right. So I would say core values are those things that we feel internally that matter to us. They may not even be things that we have actually allowed ourselves to think or feel, but we know when they're being compromised, right? There's this feeling of dissatisfaction. There's this feeling of, I would just say disalignment. If I would give an example, You may be, looking for a job and you get an opportunity, but then the job may require you to spend a lot of time at the workplace, and you would want to spend some hours at home with your children. So then you would feel a bit disenfranchised, and of course, most of us, our tendency is to silence that voice, and maybe employ some rationale like, I need this job. It's helping me do 1, 2, 3. After all, I spend time with my children over the weekend, So we continue living like that. But silencing your core values, that voice, that internal voice, ultimately leads to frustration, right? So core values are actually guardrails, I would say. I would say that they're guardrails that God has put inside us, and ideally they're just supposed to guide us on the path that is most in sync with what He desires for us to do. And so the interesting thing is that you'd find that we don't share core values. For someone else, maybe freedom is a core value. Let me even just speak for myself. Freedom is a core value for me, and that then makes entrepreneurship more attractive than employment. Okay. And for someone else, security might be a core value, and then that makes employment more attractive than entrepreneurship. So it's not that one is bad or superior to the other. It's just that all of us have been wired differently. So it's important to get in touch with your core values and to just dig deep, like really, really, really what matters to me, regardless of how we were raised, regardless of your current situation, what really, really matters to me, and not to be afraid to get in touch with that, because no one is saying that you need to make drastic changes. No, we're just saying, how can I get in touch with that? And then how can I then get a plan towards living a life that is more aligned with my core values? All right. So that's the first thing. Just trying to know our core values. This is now the journey towards intentional living. So finding out your core values, seeing the alignment, seeing the areas that you feel, disaligned, and then now coming up with a strategy towards that direction. All right. And you find that some of the things that we know that we ought to do, sometimes we are not doing because we're not aligned to what we really, really want or what really, really matters to us as individuals, right? So the second thing I mentioned was core beliefs, right? So I'll break that down a little bit. So core beliefs are a person's most central idea or ideas about themselves, others, and the world, okay? So core beliefs, we actually form them as we grow, depending on what we go through, circumstances that find us, then we act like a lens through which every situation and life experience is seen, okay? Because of this, people with different core beliefs might be in the same situation, but think, feel, and behave very differently, all right? So even if a core belief is inaccurate, it still shapes how a person sees the world. Harmful core beliefs lead to negative thoughts, feelings, and behavior, all right? Whereas rational core beliefs lead to balanced reactions. So all I'm saying is we all pick core beliefs. Some people say that by the age of 7, you formed some key core beliefs about yourself, about the world, right? Others say that, yes, you form in your formative years, but also traumatic life experiences in your adulthood can also make you form core beliefs. So remember I said that you may find people with different core beliefs might be in the same situation, but think, feel, and behave very differently. All right. So, for example, if say you experience a failure, maybe you are trying to do something and then it doesn't work. All right. One person may interpret it as, okay, this is an opportunity for me to learn and do better. Another person may interpret it as, I can never get things right. I'm a failure. Same situation, but very, very different interpretation of the situation. So core beliefs are powerful, because what happens is your core beliefs form your feelings, which then form your actions, which then form your results. All right. So let me say that the current life that you're living in, the house that you're living in, the car that you're driving, everything that you're doing right now is a reflection of your core beliefs. Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you, Linda. Can you hear me? Someone else? Thank you. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
We can hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Okay. So yeah, so core beliefs are very powerful because you may be thinking it's the government, you may be thinking it's the economy that is, affecting the life and the situation that you're in. But the truth is that really there's something that you believe internally, For some people, COVID was an opportunity, just based on their core beliefs. They believe when there is scarcity, then it means there's an opportunity. And they ventured in, and got into interesting businesses just to meet the needs that were presented because of the situation. Whereas other people, it was disaster. This meant the end, and it meant, a hardship and all that. And not to say that I'm not compassionate of the pain that we have all endured. All I'm saying is that our core beliefs shape how we interpret the world. All right. So it's important to look keenly, think about your life, and think about what core beliefs could be affecting the things that you're doing. We probably think, maybe you think, I can never be successful in 1, 2, 3, and maybe it is something that was said to you, or something that was said even about your family, that has really, really nothing directly was said to you. For example, you say, all I don't know what are usually like this, and you pick that core belief and it informs your actions, your feelings, your actions, and then your results. So it's also important to really, really dig deep, talk to people close to you. Maybe you actually echo it. Someone close to you may have picked it, and they may be able to help you to see that core belief. And I would invite you to look at it and capture the belief and align it with truth. Most of these things are just lies that we have told ourselves, we have been told, and really do not align with what God says about us. So it's important to capture them and expose them and pick the word of God. And what does God say about me? What is God saying about this situation? What does he say, about marriage? What does he say about finances? What does he say about health? What does he say about wealth even, and what have I picked? What have I believed that is contrary to what God says, right? So capture the belief and align it with with the truth. Okay, so the other aspect of intentional living, we said, is also living in alignment with your passions. Okay, so passions are things that excite and energize us. These are things that give us energy as opposed to draining us, you know. So also an invitation for you to look at your, week, the coming week or two. Maybe even get a piece of paper and draw a line in the middle, and have one side written, energized me, and another side written, drained me. Okay. And go through the next 2 weeks. After every experience, just write, energized me. If it energized you, write it down. If it drained you, write, drained me. And then do an audit at the end of the 2 weeks. My opinion, at least you should be doing 80% of the things that you should do should be energizing, and 20%, because life is not perfect on this side of heaven. At least 20% of the things should drain you and not the other way around. Most of us are living with 80% drain, 20% energizing, And as I said, no one is saying make drastic. For my life to be 80% energized and 20% drained. And then even for this drained, is there anything I can do about it? Can I delegate some of my roles? Can I ask for help? Can I even buy a machine? Maybe it's whatever it is, like how can I simplify this aspect of my life so that we can experience the abundant life that Christ set out for us to have. All right. So living intentionally is living a life that is aligned to your values, your core beliefs, and your passions. So my invitation to you is to find out what are your core values, at least your top 5 core values. What do they mean? What really, really matters to you? If you don't think about anything else, what really, in silence, what really, really matters to you? The other thing to investigate are your core beliefs. What do you believe? What do you believe about money? Is it true? What do you believe about relationships? Is it true? What do you believe about your dreams? Is that true? Is that aligned with what God has said? And expose the lies so that you can live into God's plan for you. The other thing is investigate your passions. 80-20. So what percentage of your life is full of energy, is full of excitement? And what can you do about it? Okay. Little steps towards this mean a lot. So not an invitation for drastic moves, but just awareness and the journey towards intentional living. All right. So my question to you is, what would you do in your life if you had a guarantee of success? If you were sure that this would be successful, what would you do? And for me, when I read what Harry has written, why not you? It actually makes me reflect on all these things. Like ideally, why not me? Why can't I be the person who lives aligned to my values, who lives aligned to the right core beliefs, and who lives out my passions, the things that God has put to excite me? So I'm really excited about the book that helps us question ourselves. Why not us? What if we knew we could be successful and we knew we had a guarantee of success? How would that change our lives? How would that change our conversations? How would that change our decisions? How would that change our relationships? All right. So if people can have successful businesses, why not you? If people can have successful relationships, why not you? You know, if people can be wealthy and live in abundance, why not you? So that's a very big topic that I think we all need to dig deeper and just analyze and question ourselves. So, Harry, I want to thank you so much for just helping us process that and just tapping into our comfort zone.
Thank you so much, Audrey, for that really inspiring talk, reminding us that we need to make deliberate choices, that we'll never achieve our goals and live our lives, the lives that we desire, if we don't intentionally decide that we need to have good core values, good core beliefs. So the second speaker is a young man who's going to share his journey to success. It's somebody who decided to break barriers and do something which is, in my opinion, quite remarkable. This is somebody who also decided to ask himself, why not me? And went ahead to do something awesome and make a difference. When I first met this individual, he was a videographer in Mombasa, and he'd done videography studies. Now, for most of us, if that was our background for training, most of us, I'm sure our aim might have been to be the director of maybe a TV program to produce movies or the like. But he set his sights on something bigger. Now he owns a TV station in Rwanda. So ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome Charles Muga so that he can share his journey towards success and also encourage us to also ask ourselves, why not us? Charles, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Pastor Harry, for the very glowing remarks. Before I start, I'd like to say I really like your t-shirt. Level up.
Yeah, they're on sale. They're on sale. Let me just do my video.
Yes.
These t-shirts are actually on sale for 800 bob. So if anybody wants one, you can holler at me. All right.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. So guys, I think Pastor Harry has actually said everything about me, but I'll just talk very briefly about me. My name is Charles Muga, and maybe I'll just share a bit of the story of when I actually asked myself this question of why not me. So I had done, like everyone else, I was very interested in camera since I was young. I remember my first camera was like when I was 7 years old. My dad got me my first camera and I loved it, so I used to go everywhere with it. Fast forward into university, I did broadcast journalism, and I thought that now this is my opportunity to change the world. So I began to do my short stories and very quickly got, I very quickly understood how to use a camera and direct and all that. But all that was well and good, but this always seemed to be a problem. First of all, it was a problem with the camera. The camera was not mine, so I had to borrow a camera either from school or from my friends. So I got lucky enough. Again, my dad came through for me and got me a small camera which I could use for my videography. But now that was also now, I think, the beginning of my journey, because from there is when I realized that I thought that was going to be my only problem, but that is when I realized that still there's still many things that are hindering my progress. So I would make this, the thing is I would make these shows, I would make this series. I had so many ideas in my mind of shows and storytelling, maybe some stories that I would have loved to tell, but I always found a problem with distributing them. I managed to distribute a few to Pwani TV and some people who are interested for Maisha Magic, but it never really was as easy as I thought. I mean, nothing really is, but the thing is, I always felt as if it was not because of merit. It was not that my shows were not good enough. At least you'd prefer that maybe your shows, you're told, okay, your shows, you need to change this, and then maybe we'll take it next time, we'll consider it. But I always, because I remember there's this time I went and had a meeting, and afterwards, someone came to me and told me, okay, so you see, the thing is, we want to underwrite this show, but how much are you going to give me, or how much are you willing to let go? So that really struck for me, and I was like, I'm already not making what this show cost, but I need to, but you also need a cut from that. So that also was a problem for me, because I was not going to make any sort of money from that. So I remember when I was still delegating this guy, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was just talking to him about the frustrations that I'm having of selling my content. And he told me, because I had the conversation for quite a lengthy period of time. I needed to vent. So he told me, so okay, so what are you going to do? That because I was venting too much. So it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. This guy, you need to give him some money. So what are you going to do about that? Are you going to give him some money, or are you not going to give him some money? Or is there another way that you can actually, to some sort of extent, jump the middleman or avoid the middleman? So I decided, okay, maybe that's a thought. When I went back home that day, it began to sit in my head. Every time I would think, the middleman, I need to remove the middleman out of my life, and be able to actually sell my content or distribute my content with a lot more ease, or without anyone on my back trying to take advantage of me. So I remember one night from the time that now I started thinking about it, I started praying about it. I really started praying about it, and I was saying, okay, so God, of course, sometimes you find that you blame God. So God, you've told me, you've given me this passion of making these movies, but now I can't sell it anywhere. So what do you want me to do? What's next for me? Because I've tried. So I was sitting in bed, and I was like, okay, so how do I avoid the middleman? Basically, I had to either become the distributor, so I can distribute my own content, or just now give up, or not give up, but like decide to actually succumb to what the guy was telling me. So at the same time, luckily, and that's how I know that my path is God set me on this path, because at the same time, I was lucky enough to have a fiance then, my wife now, who was living in Rwanda. So every time she'd come to Mombasa, she'd tell me, Rwanda is it's so much easier to do this in Rwanda. It's so much easier to do this in Rwanda. Then just one day I asked her, since it's so easy to do everything in Rwanda, how easy is it to start a TV station in Rwanda? And she's like, I actually don't know, but I'm sure it's not that difficult. I was like, okay, it's not that difficult, because I know for sure, I knew Kenya was going to be very difficult. So I started looking up Rwanda and seeing where they're headed, and it got me excited. And I started saying, okay, so maybe if she says it's not that easy, it's not that hard, maybe I can give it a shot. So I started looking at, of course, the process, and true to the fact, they made it look easy. Let me just say they made it look easy. Basically, it was you apply, and you somehow you wait a bit, and you get your license to broadcast. So I was like, okay, so maybe 2-3 weeks I can wait for my license, and then I get it. So I decided, okay, so I need to commit. I need to commit. I went back to God. I told him, okay, God, so this is the deal. I laid out my plans to him, and somehow I said, okay, now this, I need to know what I need to do. And I somehow leaned, I had a voice, and that voice told me to go to Rwanda. So I decided to go to Rwanda. But now when I go to Rwanda, things were not that easy. Like, it was not that easy as she had said. And just to cut the long story short, the license took me about 2 years to get and to start everything and everything running and broadcasting and all that. But the journey has not the journey, of course, has not been easy with its ups and downs. But because of this, I really like the book because it just goes to say that sometimes you need to ask yourself, okay, why not? Why shouldn't I try? Because why shouldn't I try? Why not me? Because why shouldn't I try this? And maybe it's going to work. Maybe it's not going to work. Because I had the mentality of, okay, so even if it doesn't work, at least I'll have tried. And when I'm 50, I always have this saying that at least when I'm 50, I'll not say that maybe I should have tried this, maybe I should have tried this. I know there's some people who are 50 in this in this forum. I'm sorry, but that's just, I think, just the bravado that youth have, or maybe because I'm a bit young and I can still afford to make such mistakes. But for me, I really thank God, and I really just also want to thank Pastor Harry for this book, because it actually will also tell more people and encourage more people to be able to come forward and try things that they need to do, or things that maybe they have barriers or they have gatekeepers, and they need to just find another way or circumnavigate their own way and go through them. And for me, that was my some sort of way that I managed to go through the gatekeepers and the cartels which were here, there in Kenya. Yes, to distribute my content. I think that is my story, Pastor Harry.
Thank
So
you.
if anyone had a question or anything, maybe I can answer them, or I don't know how the thing is going, but that's all that I have, Pastor Harry.
Thank you so much, Charles. I don't know
Thank
about
you.
you, but every time I hear your story, it just never ceases to inspire me to aspire for more. And that's the
Yes.
aim, basically, of Why Not You? To stir
Yes.
you up so that you can step into your destiny. Because more often than not, we settle for less than we were made for. We settle for second best, yet the best is just within our grasp if we can just go the extra mile. Just like you said, you took a leap of faith and you went to a whole new country. You faced challenges, but here you are and you're hacking it. So today, I guess we just need to decide to exert ourselves, dream big, make a strategy, and we want to go for our goals.
Yes.
So Why
Yes.
Not You has been actually out for this past week, and some people have been able to pre-order the book and read it, like Charles was able to read it. So we want to hear a few stories from other people who have read the book. So there's one lady who, yes, one very special lady, and she's called Madame Linda Schumer. So she wears many hats, so I don't even know how to introduce herself. She'll introduce herself. Madame Linda, please just give us a small review, like any insights or points that you got from the books that we can, also be encouraged to read it.
Thank you so much, Harry. A very good evening to everybody on the call.
Amen.
It is a pleasure sitting in on this call. I celebrate you, Harry, for authoring this book. And I don't think I could say that it comes at a better time than this. Indeed, the last few months have been months where the question, why not you, should be a question that has come to many people, and that you have voiced it by writing a book is such an excellent achievement. I haven't gotten through the book, but for the little that I have read, one of the things that stood out for me was that we start the journey of asking ourselves, why not you, with seeking self-awareness. And for me, self-awareness is one of those places that is important for everything, to be able to get ahead in life and just live out our lives intentionally, as Audrey started out this evening by talking to us about, to be able to live intentionally, to be able to live out our full potential. And indeed, one of the many things that causes us not to doubt ourselves and to think that it can't be me, it must be somebody else, is the imposter syndrome. And very many of us live life doubting ourselves and thinking that everybody else is better. Yet God has made us in his image and able to be the very best that we can be because we are in his image. So we generally suffer an imposter syndrome that causes us to doubt ourselves. As I listened to Charles, I was extremely excited at how he quotes his father and his parents as being the encouragers in his life. Because another thing that causes us to think it can't be me is the negative reinforcement that we tend to live with as we go through life. It could be from a teacher, it could be from a parent, it could be from siblings. But when you have some positive reinforcement from the people that matter, then it makes a lot of difference. It's important for us to live life shooting straight from the hip and not slowing down. I mean, never stop to think that something has to be perfect for you to do it. As Charles said earlier, even if it doesn't work, at least you tried. So just go ahead and do it. It's important. And why not you? And yet you are made for excellence. We were made by an excellent God. So why not you? Challenges and hurdles are going to be there, irrespective of what it is that you're trying to do. Every phase of our life has challenges and hurdles for us to overcome. And that should not be a reason for us to doubt ourselves. So be able to overcome those challenges, face the challenges, even when they are extremely difficult to face. Face them, overcome them, and go ahead. And indeed, as Audrey asked, what would you do if you had a guarantee for success? It's important that we live life with minimal inhibitions. Of course, linking back to our beliefs, our values, and our passions. So for each and every one of us on this call, why not you? Thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you so much, Linda, for the words, for your review, for your thoughts about the book, and just emphasizing that we need to be intentional. And this is actually the perfect time for us to ask ourselves, why not us? What is inhibiting us? You know, why are we not living life as we should, authentically and just to the full of our extent of our abilities? So thank you so much for that. At this point, I just want to open up the floor if there are any questions for Audrey or any questions for Charles, or even if you want to ask Madam Linda a question based on what she said. I'll open up the floor for maybe like 1 or 2 questions, and then we are coming to just wrap up this session. If there are any questions, please feel free. Just ask your question to Charles, to Audrey, to Linda, or to me. If you've read the book and you have a question about the book, you can also do that.
Sorry. Oh, I have a question for you, Pastor Harry.
All right.
Yes. What drove you to write the book? What was your main aspiration?
Wow, that's a good question. So I was actually not, I had not even thought that I would be asked a question. All right.
Yeah.
So what drove me to write the book? All right, so this is it. Last year I kind of went through a transition, and I started doing something new. Right now I'm doing something new. It's not what I was doing last year. And I found that I had a lot of doubt in my mind. If you read the book, you'll find that there's the first area that I say, the first thing that I talk about that hinders us from exploring our full potential is our disempowering thoughts. And that is what plagued me for years. I had so many disempowering thoughts. I want to try this, I want to try that, but I am my own worst enemy. So, but I came to a place when I said, no, who's going to do it? God has put that desire in me, so I need to do it. That's why he put the desire in me. Why not me? And once I came to that realization and I found the freedom and the liberty, I'm not saying that I have arrived, but I'm definitely not where I was before. I wanted to share that information with other people because I know that I'm not the only one who was trapped, who was, just kept in bondage by these disempowering thoughts and just self-belief, just not allowing myself to be me, not owning myself, that it's okay to be me and have whatever crazy dream I have. I just wanted to share that information with people and also give them strategies to help them achieve their dreams. Because for me, my passion is just to inspire people to be the best version of themselves. So for me, this book is just one avenue where I feel I can just help people, just help people be the best version of themselves as I am striving to be the best version of myself by refusing to be limited by disempowering thoughts. Yeah, and just any hindrances that we allow, whether it's from other people or even ourselves internally. So that's kind of what led me to write the book. Thank you, Charles, for that question. Any other question? Yes.
Harry, my name is Francis Wanaswa.
Yes.
And just a follow-up to Charles's question, those of us on this call are actually privileged to be listening in to this uplifting message. But there are thousands out there, millions out there who will as well benefit. They may not have a chance readily to read your book or even to listen to a Zoom session like this. Yes. So what is your plan to take this message to the road to influence more people?
Okay. That's also a good question. You guys got good questions, which I am totally unprepared for, but we shall still strive to answer it. All right, so in the grand scheme of things, okay, of course, the book is definitely one way to get the message out, but also I introduced myself and said that I am an emotional intelligence coach. So the book is kind of a part of that. Linda talked about how the first area was about self-awareness. Discovering your disempowering thoughts, what limits you, what inhibits you. So how one way that I hope to achieve this is get platforms where I can coach people, I can train people on emotional intelligence, platforms where I can speak, whether it's a classroom of students, it's a church, wherever. Just that's my way. That is how I am hoping to do it. I actually have a consultancy called Shuja Rising Consulting, and I am using that platform to be able to take this message through the book and through my actual coaching. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Francis.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for participating. For those of you who are yet to buy a copy of the book, the M-Pesa, it's an ebook. The actual physical book shall be out by the end of next month. Right now I have an ebook. So if you'd like your copy of the ebook, please kindly, the M-Pesa till number is 596.95, 596.95. So you can just inbox me if it's on Instagram or any of the social media channels, or even right now with a payment message and the email address that you'd like me to email you the book, where you'd like me to send the book to. And for those of you who would like to learn more about how you can up your game and be the best version of yourself, I encourage you to sign up for the Level Up Emotional Intelligence program. As I said earlier, I run a coaching consultancy and it's called Shuja Rising Consulting. And with the Shuja Rising Consulting, we take you through a comprehensive course, and there are 4 modules to it. We learn self-awareness, we learn self-management, we learn social awareness, and we learn social skills. So you can sign up for either individual coaching or group coaching. And this is the manual that I wrote, and I will take you through this manual. And hopefully by the end of it, you shall be more productive, you shall increase your personal effectiveness, your ability to relate with other people, manage stressful situations, and above all, be inspired to go for your dreams and ask, why not you? So if you want more information about this, please visit the website, which is www.shujarising.com. www.shujarising.com. I'll put it in the chat in case anybody is interested in that. So just to be clear, the clients, it's individuals, that's one-on-one coaching. And the group coaching can be a company, it can be a church group, any group. I do groups of, the minimum group is 5, any group of 5. I'm so willing to coach you guys. So for more information, you can head out to the website. And it is a wrap. Thank you so much for being part of the Why Not You book launch. I do really appreciate you for taking your time and just staying on me with the line. I really apologize for the earlier on technical hitch. Otherwise, grab your copy if you haven't. Sign up for the Level Up Emotional Intelligence course. And if any of you guys want to represent and wear the Level Up t-shirt, feel free also to holler at me. So thank you so much. It's a wrap. Maybe we can do, I've seen this in other Zoom meetings. Maybe we can do this as we end. If everyone can just unmute and say good night. Say good night in Swahili or your mother tongue. Can we try to do that?
Bulai.
Wow, okay.
In my bed. Unend maber. Kona bulai.
Hata we si.
Oh, Lazanito.
Wow. That was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm not going to end the meeting. You just leave at your pleasure. Leave at your pleasure. I'm not going to Zoom at the meeting.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.